now. That's okay. All right. So we had a little technical kind of funny thing, but that's okay. We are live and it's still exactly 9 o'clock. And so welcome everyone. And we'll just wait for some people to jump on, Cindy. Um, and, when people watch the replay, they'll hear all of it. So I'm going to get the comment section ready, but um, tonight, our topic, as we discussed, is going to be um, all kinds of things to do with healing, spiritual healing, energy healing, angel healing, and everything under the sun. So we can kind of share our story, share our journey with healing. So, but I figured something that we could do, something simple, something fun until we get some people to jump on here with us, is we can pull a card for the collective energy for our live broadcast tonight. So, if you would like to do that, you can. Do you have any cards with you?
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
that's funny. I kind of thought you were talking about me, but
Yeah.
I wasn't real sure. And I have these are ready to go. So, and this is my Magic of Unicorns deck, Diana
Ooh,
Cooper.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
So, all
I
right, let
love
me just do one quick shuffle here, and let Spirit guide me on cutting the cards. Okay. Whoops. So this is the Rose Gold Cosmic Pool. Bathe in cosmic love, soak up wisdom. I love that.
All
Let me
right.
back up here. Yeah, let me see if I can get. Can you see it?
Yes, and that
Okay.
is, I'm sorry I spelled Erica's name wrong. She just said hello. That is really what we're working on tonight. Some of that,
I know.
right? Some of,
Yeah, like all
yeah,
the healing, and it's got the sun on it and coming down around. If you, I don't know if you can see it, but you see
yep,
off coming off the eagle and down to the animals and
yep. I'm gonna zoom in
yeah.
on it so you can show it.
Okay. All right, let's do that again. Let's see.
Yeah,
Okay, you can kind of
yeah,
see how
yep,
the rays are coming down on it, on the
yeah,
animals.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's one of my favorite cards in that deck because of all of those animals and all the spirit animals. It's interesting because when we did that, I was called to do that spontaneous healing for you that time you weren't well. The animals are who I went to, and one of them in particular was Lucky, you know,
I
uh,
know.
horse. And we later found out that he is a healer in his own right and a spirit horse who can just show up in your space and be with you and communicate with you. And he loves to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times whenever I've woken up and been like, "Oh, Lucky's here."
Yep, yep.
So he still keeps an eye on me.
Yep, he really
Yeah.
does. He'll just show up out of nowhere, and I've been expecting it, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" And he'll just show up in my room, and he's funny like that.
I remember
So,
one time you told me that you had taken a nap and you woke up and his face was like right above yours. It was like, "Hi, Mom."
yep, yep, he was right there, and it
Uh,
was I could smell him before I was like consciously aware that he was actually standing over me energetically. I actually like woke up and I could smell him because horses, no matter how many horses you have, each one has its own individual smell, you know, and so you just pick up that scent. So
right.
Erica's joined us and she says, I love animals, and she does animal rescue. So yes, Erica,
Oh, I
you
love
will.
you for doing that.
Yeah, yeah, she really does. So thank you for that, Erica. So thank you for joining us too. So, so my card that I picked tonight was Archangel Uriel. Okay.
Mm.
And I really like this deck. It's the Angels Among Us deck, and it's like a modern twist on the angels. And so when I looked at this card, Uriel, it reminds me of the dude, with the glasses and kind of like going with the flow. but it was all, this card is about illumination and like inner power and strength and ideas, and how we bring our ideas,
Mm.
from the conscious mind and even the subconscious mind out into like the physical reality, like into our world. And so it becomes, in our mind, it's fluid, but when we bring it out and we manifest, it becomes real, and it becomes something that it's tangible, And it makes me think about how everything in our world that is with us right now, somebody thought of and brought it, first it was in their mind, and then they brought it and made it a reality, they created that. So I feel like that's what Archangel Uriel is coming in for us tonight with this little podcast that we're doing about healing, and also about inner peace. And I feel like healing has a lot to do with that inner peace that we have, in that trust, in that knowing that we actually do have that power within us to offer our body, our mind, and our spirit healing when we know it needs it, but also to take that knowledge and that wisdom out and tell others that they have that power and that wisdom and that knowledge. So that's what I
Yeah.
feel.
So whose deck is that?
It
Who
is
wrote that
the
deck?
Angels Among Us deck.
Right, but I can't read the authors.
It's let me see. I have to have two sets of glasses here because my eyes, I can never get them fixed right. So it's Victoria Maxwell and Ellen Grant are the creators
Okay.
of this deck.
All
Yep.
right, thank you.
Very
All
modern.
right.
So it really resonated with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna order that deck. I've had it for a little while. So that's what I did,
And
and
it's
I really
funny.
like it. So yeah.
It's funny. Sometimes that's the way Gabriel comes in for me, like in jeans and a t-shirt with rolled up sleeves and penny loafers or something.
Yeah, yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of people see the angels in a modern way like that. For me, I see Gabriel more like a modern look, Archangel Gabriel, but he's always wearing white. So every time I see Archangel Gabriel, he's always wearing white, and he has the most stunning blonde hair. Like
Right.
it's wavy and stunning. He has very shockingly blue eyes. So, um, and
Yeah. So, but it's always a white t-shirt and
yeah,
and blue jeans though.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's cool. I
yeah.
always I see Gabriel with the white robe. So I don't see him like modern, but I love how everybody will have their different representation or feeling about what the angels look like. How do you see Archangel Raphael?
I see him in a green robe.
Yeah, I always see him in green, always. And a lot of times he'll bring in this like swirling vortex, like a tornado of green energy. And this can come down over whoever I'm working on and clear everything, in their aura. Or a lot of times when it comes down around them, it will spin, balance, clear, harmonize all of their chakras. So it's pretty cool. Um,
And I've asked him at times to watch over and stand over people, loved ones, or whatever at the hospital. And
mhm.
in that case, I see him as like he's praying over them all the time.
Yep, yep. Um, I see Archangel Michael as a typical warrior angel. Like, he's very stunning. He's always holding a shield and a sword. I've
Yep.
once seen him without a shield and a sword. And if I need him quick, I will just see blue. I'll see blue energy come in, and I'll know that he's with me. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, even on at times I haven't called him in, but that I'm outside, he'll show me that he's there
Yep.
because I'll see blue, the
Mhm.
color blue,
Yep.
where I should be seeing different colors or whatever. So
Yep.
I always know when he's around.
Yep. Yep, that's like sometimes when you sense it and you work with the angels a lot, you'll just know that they're there, and like you just might have your little your sign or your signal that you've worked out with the angels. And I know that you have done that. We've talked about this. So if you want to share something about that, I'm sure people will find that interesting.
Well, I mean, I was kind of, frustrated with trying to figure out what this meant or what that meant. And so I thought, I'm just going to ask them to let me make the symbols. And so that's what I did with Gabriel. I was like, well, could you please come in, blaring Johnny Cash trumpets?
Mhm.
And so he did that for me, and he did it for a long time, but he knows I don't need it now.
Yep.
But sometimes he'll still come in that way. And we've talked about this before, but not in the sense of, getting doing healing work.
Mhm.
But you're going to work with the angels a lot whenever you're doing healing work. So
Yeah.
knowing their energy frequency, their signature is
Mhm.
great. So
Yep.
so I started, assigning my own things. Well, if this happens, then use this symbol or whatever.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've got a lot of that worked out now with them,
Yep.
and
Yep. That really helps when you do the work to know who's there. And I find that when you fully activate, your clairs that work the best for you, that also helps too. So if you're claircognizant or clairsentient, you'll just know, or you will feel. So it is a vibration. It is a frequency.
yeah,
Um, and it's sometimes a lot of them come in at once, and I find, like, I just totally buzz, like, I feel like my whole body is, like, bzz, like, buzzing. Do you ever get that?
that's what's happening now. I'm
Yeah.
buzzing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it's like, so, I love that. So Erica's, saying some more, we'll put up what she's saying. Um, she says, "So much with numbers and animals, and, I have much study to do."
It'll
Well,
come.
yeah, it does. It does. It's just when you open up to it, you'll just see more and more signs. So, yeah, and messages will come and all of that. So that's some of the ways that we know that we're connecting with our guides, our angels. You can sit with them, you can interview them. You can actually interview your angels. You can sit and meditate and say, I'd like to meet my guardian angel's energy, and I'd like to, sense into what my guardian angel energy feels like. And if people are watching, if they've never heard of a guardian angel, we all do have a guardian angel that's with us our whole entire life. So if you haven't met yours, you could sit in meditation and just get quiet and invite your guardian angel to come very close to you, and sense in and feel what that feels to you, what it feels like for you. You just had an orb fly in the back of the screen. Did you see that?
Yeah, okay. I felt like Metatron was here earlier, and I feel like
Yep.
that was Metatron.
Yep. Yep. I'm like, okay, we have angels among us, just like our deck, angels among us.
Yep.
Just saw that an angel fly by there in Cindy's screen. So you just never know it's going to happen, but you have to have your spiritual eyes ready and your physical eyes, because you never know.
Right. So when Erica's name was up and we were talking about what she had commented,
Yeah.
I got a dollar sign
Uh-huh.
just quickly in my view, and so that tells me that she's very abundant. Maybe not money wise, but
Mhm.
an abundant person overall.
Mhm.
And so, Erica, if you're still here, just know that you should be asking for abundance,
Mhm.
and it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to be about money.
Mhm. Right. Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy. And we're both energy healers. So not only have we learned to pick up the frequency and the vibration of angels, but um, we pick up the frequency and vibration of each other, people around us, and also people that are tuning in. So I feel a little bit of sadness coming in right now, and I know it's not you, because we've been talking and we interacted a little bit before we've gone live. So that tells me in my body, when I feel it, I have to clear it for people and send healing to that. So I'm going to do that. And because there's somebody that's tuned in that's feeling a little bit of sadness, my eyes are watering. So I'm just going to offer them some healing and clearing for whatever it is, whatever emotions they might be feeling tonight, or maybe somebody tuning in on the broadcast after this live might be feeling this too, because energy is energy, and Spirit, God, the universe knows where this healing needs to be and where it needs to go. So we're just going to focus on that. So we're sending love and healing to your heart, your immaculate heart, to your heart chakra, and every aspect of your heart, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And I'm hearing that Archangel Raphael will be with this person to help them to release some of this sadness that they might be feeling right now.
It's funny you said I don't think it's you because this earlier today I was watching a video. I don't know how many people realize this, but Hawaii, Maui was on fire earlier.
Wow.
And yes, and it was kind of shocking some of the stuff they were saying and that I heard. And so I just immediately, it triggered me immediately, and I started sending healing to
Mhm.
all the people involved, all the animals,
Yes.
and so I hope that the angels picked up on that part of it.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy. And you're right, like as empaths, as intuitives, as healers, we tend to pick up on the collective energy. And when we feel it, we need to ask, what is it I need to do? And so you did what your heart told you to do, send healing. And so what's going on? I didn't see anything about that. So
I don't know how it started, but it apparently burnt up the main street in Lahaina, which is an old town. And the West people were trying to escape from Western Maui, and it just they were kind of freaking out. And the person that was videoing it was breathing hard and fast, and it was
yeah,
really hard to process. And I
yeah,
just immediately, it hit me really hard immediately. And I know why that video was put in my path. So I would send healing because that's
yes,
how sometimes it works that, we're not just healing our friends and family and the people we come in contact with. We're
right,
actually trying to do this on a larger level
yes.
of, the universe to
Yes.
send healing out wherever it's needed.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I was young and growing up and I was involved in church, and I would
Mhm.
always pray for people that can't pray for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with the healing.
Yes.
It is, we're sending healing where it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, Erica, I saw your comment a second ago, and I know Melissa's going to bring that back, but
Mhm.
yeah, I send healing to you as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, and um, this is another reason why we decided to do this podcast tonight, because I'll read that in a second. We'll go back to it. That there is healing that needs to be done right now, and we want to empower people to know that you don't need anything special to be a healer. All you have to do is have a heart that loves and cares about others, and compassion, and a thought or an intention. And if you feel it, God, the angels, the universe is calling you to send that love and that healing in every thought and every positive thing that you have to whatever it is that might need healing. And maybe it's yourself. Maybe it's yourself that needs love, light, compassion, and healing. So you can offer that to yourself if you need it as well. So that just came to mind. So I'm just going to bring up a comment here. And she said, but this last week, someone else's ancestors came to me as an acknowledgement that they support me, Native American, which I am none of, showed me their faces, plain as day, and two males. You want to speak about that, Cindy?
Well, you don't have to be native to have native guides. I mean, listen, we were all native at once, and we probably have a life that goes back to being Native American. Um, I have I have a guide. His name is Red Feather. He walked this earth. He fought in many battles. He fought Custer, and he was a Dakota Sioux, Brule, and he came to me a few years ago and has been a tremendous assistant in helping me grow and putting things in my path. And I just found out last summer that White Bull has also come in for me, and he was Sitting Bull's nephew.
Mhm.
And so, anyway, um, you don't have to be native to have these guides.
Mhm.
They're here to help. I mean, they're sent where they're needed,
Yeah.
and they bring things into your path that you might not have recognized. Now, having I knew I was Cherokee, but I didn't know the history of my mom's side or a lot of history on my dad's side. And so these guides have helped me work out my own ancestry just recently over the last few months.
Mhm.
And so, anyway, they can help you in so many different ways.
Yes. And she said, I received a black feather in my path right after that. Um, yeah.
I'd have to look again, but I think a black feather means that uh, it's it's in your path, and that for Native American, I think it meant that no life was lost.
Mm.
But it was something to do with battle where a courageous thing where no life was lost, and I think that's what the black feather
Mhm.
means for Native, for Indians, but for spiritually, I pick up black feathers all the time. So
Mhm.
it could be a crow feather, it could be just a blackbird's feather. I mean, and a lot of birds you wouldn't think have dark feathers do, like in their tail feathers or their um,
Yeah.
deep in their breast feathers even.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to speak to Erica again about her acknowledgement and how Native American, Native Americans came to her. Well, I have the same experience, and I am not Native American in this lifetime, but I know that my spirit definitely is Native American. So
Yeah, and we saw those early on for you.
my soul remembers. So I too have Native American guides, and I work in that spirit of the Great Spirit. So, and for me, I'll tell you what black feathers mean for me, and it definitely connects to crow energy. Okay, and so crow definitely has such a Native American connection because in everything, Native Americans acknowledge crows and their wisdom and their family connection and how they are always looking out for each other, kind of like Native Americans did. They always, everybody was important, right from the youngest baby to the oldest elder. Everyone had their place, everyone was important. So those black feathers for me are that, but they are also protection. And there's something that you need, you're not feeling maybe safe about or protected. So this black feather may have showed up in your path intuitively, how I am feeling it, with how I connect in that could be also about that black feather. And there's so much about crows, like we could just do a whole podcast
Right.
on crows.
Yeah, like okay, it means black protection and spiritual connection to creator.
Yeah.
And um and maybe that's what I was thinking with, something significant happened in a battle, but there
Mhm.
was no loss of life involved in that.
Yep, yep, and also it could just be, we're in our own battle here. We're battling, our own inner turmoil on a day-to-day basis. We're battling things coming at us from the outside world, but not only individually, but as a collective. So, and so once again, that brings us back to why we're doing this live broadcast tonight together, because Spirit has been working with our hearts for a while. And those of you that don't know, Cindy and I kind of started our spiritual journey together. Not that we weren't um, very, I would say more like religious, but we were coming out of the programming together. How's that? Like we were always connected spiritually. We always had that connection to God, creator, source, whatever, the angels. We always shared that. We had that from the very beginning, but we kind of came out of the wilderness together. Does that make sense, right, Cindy?
Yeah, and I look at it as decolonization for us. I mean,
Yeah.
We love God more than ever,
Yeah.
but we're not a part of that. Um, we're not a part of religion, you
Yeah.
know, if that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense to people.
Yeah.
Uh,
And no offense to anybody that is their path, like so much love and
right.
respect.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I just want everybody to know that wherever you are, wherever we meet, let's learn from each other. Let's love each other. Let's respect each other, and it's a beautiful thing. So um, let's talk a little bit about our healing modalities and how how they come to play, like when we interact with people, like when we do readings.
Okay, so I was doing a reading over the weekend, and I could clearly see that just like you picked up on sadness,
Mhm.
I picked up on that, and so I did some clearing there, and also I did a little chakra work on this person because their chakras were not spinning properly,
Mhm.
and it just, I just made it a part of the reading because that's what spirit led me to, was the fact that her chakras needed work.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's whatever spirit wants me to let them know. And
Right?
they were like, wait, stop, work on this. And so I told them, I was like, well, you have some chakras that are not aligned. First, let's talk about this one.
Mhm.
And it was a throat.
Yep.
And I talked about things that were going on that weren't being spoken. And then we talked about, there was a lot of pain in the solar plexus area because
Mhm.
I started feeling it, and I was like, wait, is that me, or is that okay? So that's
Mhm.
her.
Yep.
And as soon as I acknowledged that it was hers, it went away from me.
Yep.
And I said, you have pain in your abdomen? Yeah.
Yep.
And I said, you have things you're holding back? Yeah. Well, I know this because
Mhm.
Melissa healed me from
Mhm.
that horrible solar plexus pain that I had. And we've talked
Yeah.
about this before, but
Yeah.
so that experience helped me understand that was what was going on with her.
Yeah.
And I had two on Saturday that were having solar plexus pain. And so I was able to explain that to them and help them release that.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you thought, like, I was so upset when you were sick like that. I mean, that's what prompted me to just get into healer mode, and neither one of us at that point had really, just started our healing journey, like, with Reiki and all the other, healing modalities that we studied, you know? So we
Yeah,
just
at this point we were just crystal sisters. I mean,
yeah,
we were
yeah,
we were just trying to find our beginning path.
yeah,
And Melissa said, well, I'm going to do a healing. And I had bought us each a self-healed crystal.
yeah, I still have
And
that.
yeah, me too. And I mailed one to Melissa. And
Mhm.
so we were like, let's get our crystals out.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
just we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't
uh-uh,
have any clue, but now we're certain that this was put in our path
mhm,
so that we could see the power of healing. All right, go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I no, that's beautiful, and it's so true, and the thing that we learned, it struck me because I was 50% and you were 50%, and together we made 100% belief that healing could happen, and we learned that without anybody teaching us that. We learned that in an organic way, that when you set your mind to healing, when you have that love in your heart and you know that you have to do something for the people that are in your life that you love, you need to do it. And even if you don't even know exactly what it is to do, follow your heart. Follow the images, the thoughts, the ideas that come in, and just go with them. But the advice that I would give to people is make sure that you get grounded, right? Because early on then we weren't even like fully into that yet. So I didn't know how to set my protection or get grounded, but I still did the healing, and you still received it, and you were miraculously healed because
I
you
was.
going to the you were really going down the path of like, I need surgery, I think my cancer's back. And um I still talk about it to this day. It's like I kept
Me
messaging
too.
for weeks, are you okay, like how are you feeling? And then after a couple of weeks I was like, she's healed. Even though I
Yeah,
were, you know.
and I had had this pain for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Um, and I know now that I manifested this illness
Mhm.
just because I was holding back some, anger and not working through that.
Mhm.
And but I know that the angels and God allowed this, put
Yep.
this in your mind,
Yep.
and we decided we were going to do it. And
Yep.
right away, my stomach started churning,
Mhm.
and then by the next day, I was like 1,000% better,
Yep.
and I knew I was healed. And but then I was like, did I make this happen? Oh my goodness, I did. This
Yep.
was on me.
Yep.
So a lot of healing work is intuition too. It's not
Mhm.
just going through the motions of asking, bringing the angels in and asking for healing and all that.
Right.
Because sometimes healing is up here instead of in the body. So
Yep. Yep. And in our world today, you go to the doctor and they just see you like a car on the lot. Like you've got tires, you've got a carburetor, you've got an engine, you've got all these moving parts and pieces. And then to make it even worse, you can't just go to one doctor for that. Like you go to one, they send you to another, and none of them talk. And you're like, what is going on here? Like this is one machine here, it's all connected. And so that's why I feel like what we do is so needed, because when people come to us, like a lot of times for healing, we are the last resort because they've gone to every doctor, they've done everything they can and they've got no answers yet, they're still confused. And we listen. We actually listen to people. And sometimes that's all somebody needs to put them on a healing path, just somebody.
yes, and I don't always just wait to hear from people too. I see things and I'm like, oh, I'm sending healing.
Uh,
Or, something happens and instead of me getting angry, I'm like, let me just send you some healing. And then I
mhm.
move on. And
Yes.
that, I mean,
Yep. Yep.
do you do Reiki on yourself?
Um, so here's the thing. Melissa and Reiki, I became a Reiki master, but in the interim, I learned angel Reiki. And this was more clairvoyant healing and with the angels and the guidance of Archangel Raphael. So I have a mosh up. So I wouldn't exactly call my healing method full on Reiki, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I was just asking because there have been times whenever, my feet, I have had some diabetic neuropathy, which is another story about the energy
Mhm.
enhancement.
Yeah.
So I've had this diabetic neuropathy. It's better now.
Mhm.
But there have been times whenever I went to bed, I've like done Reiki on my feet because
Yep.
they hurt so bad.
Yep.
But quickly, if you don't mind, we learned about this energy enhancement system,
Yep.
and I drove to north of Oklahoma City
Mhm.
3 different times and got this energy healing. Went to this
Yep.
energy healing place,
Yep.
and my feet are so much better. It's
Yeah.
like so much opened up for me and clarity in my spiritual
Mhm.
mind as well as
Mhm.
the feet are 1,000% better too.
Yep.
And
Yep. So it's
go
called
ahead.
the EES system, and you can look it up. And there's actually one if you're in Oklahoma, and I know that Erica is, and I know that so is Gypsy JJ. They have a center in Tulsa, and it's I forget the name. Might be I'd have to look it up, but they can
Was it?
Google it. You just put EES system, um, Unified Healing. It will come up. EES Unified Healing, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It
Yeah, and where I went was Edmond, but I know there's one in Durant too.
Yep, yep, there is. And what it is scalar wave energy technology, and they use light frequency, and there is like meditative music when you go. Every center is different, but it's very relaxing, and you just go in there and you just let that energy hit you, and you set your intention, for whatever it is you wanna heal.
Okay, so when I went, the center I went to, they're playing 528 hertz
Okay.
music because 528 is the healing hertz.
Yep.
And like if you ask for healing music to play, during your sleep or whatever, it's going to take you to 528 hertz probably.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
so this healing music is it's the solfeggio frequencies,
Hmm. Yep.
which is just another part of healing. I mean, since you're a
It
sound
is.
healer,
Yes. Yes. It's so true because, sound frequencies heal as well as intentions and all these other healing modalities that we have. So, ooh, and I get so hot saying that. You feel that warmth,
yeah.
that energy.
So if you're a person that's always loved music, whatever kind of music you love, music, it's meaningful to you.
Mhm.
There's a reason, and it's
Mhm.
because the frequencies are they increase your frequency by listening to them.
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be these solfeggio frequencies, but
No.
music in general makes you smile. Then
Mhm.
there's a reason that you're drawn to that music because it helps your vibration.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll just have a song come in and I have to listen to that song and I always feel better, after I listen to a certain song. It does raise your joy and your happiness and your frequency within your body. So anything that we can do to do that is going to help us to feel better. Well,
And
and
and we even do that in our text messages. Like the other day, you said, "Whoop, there it is," and I was
yeah,
like, "Shaka laka, shaka laka."
I know, we're always I love it.
Yeah,
You
and,
know?
and but that makes us smile and it helps
Yeah,
our
yeah,
frequency.
yeah, I love it. So that's another way to add, there are layers to this healing. And so there's energy healing. So that energy is you can call down the power of Reiki, right? And then you do all of the signs and you can if you're doing it in person, you can move energy through a person's body, just by laying your hands over their body and feeling that energy force field around them, you know. And then there's, like I said, the angelic. And then we were talking. One that I use a lot is the Christ-like consciousness healing energy. Like that's one of my favorites. And when you ask me, like, how do I heal myself? That's the one I use. So what I do, and I'll share this with everybody watching, is I imagine that and I ask for the Christ-like consciousness to come down, and sometimes if you're clairvoyant, you'll
Mm.
see Jesus and he'll bring this down as a beautiful sphere and he'll place it over the top of your head and just allow that Christ-like consciousness healing energy to just fill your entire body as slowly or as quickly as you need it. And it just fills and fills you. You might feel it as heat or a vibration or cool, but you will feel it. And when your entire body is filled with that Christ-like consciousness healing energy, I tell people now you have that energy. It's in your hands, so you can rub your hands together, you know, and then you can feel it after you do that, and then any place on your body self heal. So it is kind of like Reiki, but I call on the Christ-like consciousness healing energy.
I like that, and that reminds me. Okay, so this is how I first started feeling energy was, doing the old when you're a kid, you do this and you
Mhm.
you get that static going, and you
Yeah,
can kind of, okay, you can feel it growing.
yeah.
And that was the first exercise that I was started with whenever I started learning about healing
I
and
remember.
that energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Remember the first time you sent me an energy ball? I was like, "Wow, that was so cool," and I felt it, and it
I
was
like sending them.
yeah.
My guides know that too. So whenever I'm doing healing, that's one of the things that I do a lot
Oh, yeah.
because because they said it always helps to reset someone.
Yep. Yep, and you can set your intention, and if somebody asks you for a certain thing, you can just say, you can ask your angels, your guides to, place this energy for this person you wanna heal, whatever it is, and just imagine like
Where they need it.
yep. and then you send that to them, where that is, and they will, if they asked you for healing, they will receive that ball of energy.
Yes, and so anyone here on this watching this video can do the fireball. You rub your hands together until you feel that energy.
Mhm.
And I moved a pinwheel. I remember I got the pinwheel because, I thought, well, that would be an easy way to see energy at work. And I actually, let me see if I can do. I held my hands
Mhm.
around the pinwheel and it started spinning, which
Mhm.
was really cool. This is energy. Everything is energy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can send this fireball to yourself, to someone else, to
Mhm.
help them right now. You don't
Mhm.
have to be any more advanced than you already are.
Mhm. Erica says, she says, "I do this for my sick animals." Good for you, Erica. Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I
Oh, no, you're
had
fine.
things turned off.
You're fine. It's fine. So that's great. She says, she uses that. So let's see. Are you getting anything that you'd like to share, Cindy? Anything else that you're coming up with for what we need to share tonight?
Well, Red Feather says, tell them about the lift. Tell them
About the
about the
what?
lift.
Oh, the
Lift.
lift. Yes.
Yeah. So when the very first class Melissa and I took was about the angels and how to set their energy and all that. And during that session, we were taught how to send a lift to someone.
Yeah.
And it's really simple. You can do it anytime. You call in Archangel Jophiel and you tell them who you would like to send, tell him who you would like to send a lift to,
Mhm.
ask for it. And then, um, yeah, I always just say thank you. And so it is. I know he's sending that lift.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll say why, and I'll say they're not expecting it, but please, could you send it anyway?
Mhm.
Um, and there have been times whenever I've sent you a lift and I've mentioned it, and you're like, oh man, I did feel that, or
Yep.
you've sent me one, and it's been at the right time, at just perfect timing, whenever
Yeah.
I've needed that. And I even did it for my husband once. He was working in the hayfield and he was on his way home and he was so tired he stopped to get a Snickers and a Coke at the gas station and I said, "Did you feel that lift I sent you?" And he was like, when?" And I
Mhm.
said, I told him, and he kind of laughed and he said, "Well, I thought it was my Snickers bar, but I guess it was you because I got a second wind." And
Yeah. Yeah. And so we always ask each other for that angel lift. And like you said, it's awesome because it was like the first angel class that we took. It was the angel channeling class, and we learned so much, but we learned a lot of techniques, to sense in with the angels, feel their energy. And that was one thing that stuck with us. So we still do that. When we're going through something that's difficult, or we're tired, or we're just stressed out or whatever, and we'll just text each other, "Can you send me a lift?" And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like being in a warm hug, but being filled with actual energy that you need and strength to get through whatever it is you're trying to get through. And that's what an angel lift is.
right, and see, in order to for your gifts to work, sometimes you have to get on the same spiritual level as where that energy is coming from.
Mhm.
So if you need an energy lift, frequency lift, this is the best way to get it.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, there are other things that you can do
Mhm.
to raise your frequency. And that's all a part of the healing process too. When you're doing healing work, you
Yeah.
need that frequency level high. So
Mhm.
I know we've learned that, just reciting the Lord's Prayer, and absolutely that works.
Mhm.
If you say it out loud, or you don't even have to say it out loud. If you
Mhm.
say the Lord's Prayer, that it automatically increases your frequency.
Mhm.
There are other things though, like what are some of the things that you would do to increase your frequency quickly?
Okay. Okay, so what I would do is, I would say some I am affirmations, like, "I am a divine being of God," or "I am," I am a healer. I am a divine channel of light. Like I would just say some I am affirmations like that until I just can't think of any more. And I would say I'm in successions of 3 and I feel better.
And always remember to take a deep breath.
Yep.
If it's stressful, take a deep breath. If you're trying to increase your frequency, take a deep breath. If you're trying to catch your train of thought, take a deep breath.
Hmm.
If you're in doing healing energy work, sometimes I take a deep breath and blow breath into
Yep.
whoever, the whatever the situation is that I'm trying to help
Yep.
with healing work.
Yes.
And we were taught you can pull energy out. You can scoop it out. You can pinch it out. You can,
Mhm.
and I was at a fair recently, a couple weeks back, and one of the ladies there was pulling. Let's see if I can get it on screen. Pulling things out of this person's body, and the person was in person because it was a fair, and it
Mhm.
was like all these people were gathered around and cheering on the two ladies that were doing the healing work, and it was really pretty amazing. And they were pulling
Mhm.
energy out of the person that
Yeah.
was getting the healing, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Um,
Yeah, there
I,
were a lot of woos and ahs, and it was
yeah,
really, yeah, it was cool. It
I
was kind of
love
like a
that.
church revival.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like,
Spiritual.
everybody thinks that, this is new age, like this is new thought, like this is something new, but in reality, this is what human beings practiced for millennia on each other. And if you take it back to civilizations before we have now, that's how they healed. They used crystals, they used frequency, they used sound, they used
Plant
they
life.
yep,
E-
everything that yes, that was natural in our world. Uh-huh.
Every prescription started with a plant base.
Yep.
Okay, every single prescription, and a lot of the energy, I mean, a lot of the drugs that are used today to help people heal are derived from an Native American or Native
Yep.
Indian
Mhm.
plant recipe. Like a poultice was used, willow
Yep.
bark used for this, or
Yep.
comfrey for that, or whatever. Everything stems from Native American traditional medicine.
Mhm. Mhm. And I feel Native American just goes back to all of the ancient cultures and civilizations, so you can just take it it's ancient, and every people had that, connection to whatever it was that brought down wisdom and knowledge to humanity, and, it made me think of something else when you were talking about that. Oh, how, when we do healing, when people come to us for healing and readings, I find that, the things that the angels and the guides recommend are always, always natural, always. And it could be like, I never know what they're going to whisper in my ear about what that person might need. And I'm not a doctor. And so I always tell them, do your research, do your due diligence. And if it resonates, it's natural, give it a try. And so there it is right there. That ancient wisdom is right there for us from the angels and the guides as well.
Well, and I started my spiritual journey learning about essential oils first, and then it was
Yep.
crystals. I'd
Hmm.
always I'd always had crystals all my whole life, but I didn't
Hmm.
know their metaphysical properties really. I just knew that amethyst made me feel good. But um, as far as the essential oils, sometimes that is a recommendation. And because my guides and angels I work with, they know I work with oils, and I
Hmm.
know what kind of oil works for what. Well, I burnt myself earlier today
Hmm.
on the arm. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway,
You
I'm
can't.
trying. Okay,
Yep.
it's right here, but
Mhm.
anyway, oh, I do see it.
Yep, I see it a little bit. Yep.
Okay, so I burnt myself, and I started putting lavender oil on it
Mhm.
right away. I mean, right off the bat, and I put it on
Mhm.
3 times today. Normally, I would have a big fat blister by now on that.
Yep.
but it's already almost healed.
Yeah.
And so like over the weekend when I was Saturday when I was doing readings, I do them on the weekends every other Saturday at the Celtic Moon in Ardmore. We just started that.
Mhm.
Um, and at any rate, I was doing one, and the Gabriel told me that this person needed frankincense through a
Mhm.
diffuser or on their skin to rub in their skin
Yeah.
um, at least a couple times a day for a few days.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, they do, or they'll tell me a specific incense
Mhm.
that they want that person to burn,
Yes.
like rosemary and something else or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
Bergamot's a very healing plant, and so a
Mhm.
lot of times they want bergamot.
Yep. Yep. Um, can you recommend a book to somebody that might be watching or maybe in the replay sometime, that they could pick up to help them to learn about essential oils?
Yeah, just about any book, but there's a lot on Pinterest. So if people just want to look on Pinterest, you can search like essential oil for headache, which is
Yep.
the first thing that's gonna come up is peppermint for your
Mhm.
temples.
Yep.
Or pain. There's pain, there's oils that whenever layered on top of each other create like a pain bomb.
Mhm.
And I had separated ribs once and used that. I only used essential oils, and I
Mhm.
was able to get over it. Where Gypsy, JJ, what are you asking? Where did you say Cindy for?
Where you do the readings, she wants to know.
Oh, at Ardmore at the Celtic Moon. I
Mhm.
don't go there this Saturday. I don't go again until next Saturday.
Mhm.
And but yeah, if you're in that area, I
Mhm.
would love to meet you.
Yeah.
Um, Sweet.
Great.
But essential oils. The other thing with there are when I was in Colorado once, I found we were at a crystal shop, and I found a healing book on which crystals are good for what ailments.
Mhm.
Then also I used Elizabeth Hayes' book
Mhm.
on if something's going on, there's an affirmation for healing that particular thing.
Mhm.
Now that doesn't always work, but a lot of times it is that simple.
Mhm.
Um, but there are also healing frequency codes. So
Mhm.
there are people that do Rife Energy that can use those frequency codes to target a specific thing in your body. There are 700,000 codes,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
and so they could use these codes to target like let's say I have a tumor that is on my thyroid. There
Mhm.
is a there is a healing frequency code for that,
Mhm.
and there are people that do that. Or you could just ask the angels to give you healing for that.
Right.
A lot of times it's based on what you're capable of doing
Mhm.
or what you
Yep.
feel you're capable of doing in as
Yep.
far as healing work goes.
Mhm. Yep. So, Erica said, I really worry about burning incense or certain oils. Yeah, you do have to be careful. I know tea tree oil is toxic to dogs, and I think personally, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sage is pretty safe to burn for anybody because it's
Palo Santo.
actually healing. Yeah, and also,
Lavender, you can do lavender and a diffuser all day. Now, we recently had puppies in our area and we spend a lot of time in.
mhm,
And so I was careful not to do incense.
mhm,
But a few times, like whenever we would take them out to play, my husband would take them out to do their business and play. I would burn lavender
yep,
during the time that they were out,
mhm,
just so whenever they came back in, it smelled fresh and it smelled
yep.
fresh to me and all that.
Yep, yep, that works good. And the other leaf I was thinking of burning, you put it in soups.
Basil, basil,
What? Bay.
basil.
No, bay. It's actually
Oh,
bay.
bay leaves. Yeah, bay leaves.
That's
Yeah,
very healing, and it's very, it's actually like a antiviral kind of,
right.
so that works good too. So,
And
um,
lavender is anti viral too.
yeah. So I feel like pretty much do your research, but don't burn the incense like that are perfumey, you know, because there are perfumey things that even we react to. So keep it as close to natural as you can.
Right. And like
Yeah.
if you have sage that you're growing outside, you can just let that dry a little bit, or lavender. You can let a stem of lavender dry and
Yeah.
then just peel the leaves and the flowers off and put that in your if you got like whatever thing you have that you burn in. I have a big shell.
Mhm.
Let's see. I've got this huge shell that
Mhm.
I burn in. I mean, I do sage, cedar, and sweetgrass together. I make
Mhm.
my own
Yeah.
sage sticks and
Yeah.
do those, but I can only do them in certain areas because they set off my fire alarm instantly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
mine's
I know.
tied through my whole house. And my
Yeah.
dogs are like,
I know, I know. I grow my sage and that's I like burning that. So I do that and I do some natural ones that I order online too, but yeah, I mean, I keep it simple and when I burn it, I just makes you feel good and it is healing. That smoke is healing and clearing, especially I do love sage. It's still my favorite. And I
and
do love
think about this: when you're saging your home or clearing your home, you're healing. You're
Mhm,
doing healing work here.
mhm.
I mean, I
Yep,
didn't think of that in the beginning. I just like, I'm clearing any negative stuff out. I want to keep what's good and get rid of what's negative. So,
right.
but now I think of it as this is healing work,
Yeah, it
because
really
we're
is.
healing our families, we're healing ourselves, we're
Mhm.
healing our home.
Right.
Um,
Super important to keep your home clear and set that intention. And that's a good ritual to do, and I would recommend that to anybody to, burn sage and kind of go through each room. And they say, like let the smoke out like in the center. So you work from one end and you let the smoke out, and then you start at the other end and you push the smoke out so you know that your whole house is clear. It feels good when you do that. It's kind of like in the springtime when you first open your windows. It feels that good when you get done.
it does, it does. And, I don't know if you've thought about this, but almost every person that I come in contact with that's spiritual, I hear they're a healer. They just don't know it yet.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
because I feel like so many people are healers and don't realize it. So
Yeah.
all you people that would like to do healing work, yes, it's
Yeah. Go
this way. You
for
do
it.
your,
Thank you
yeah.
for saying that because I think that's the main reason why we were called to do this podcast tonight, to empower people to know that if they feel the call to be a healer, a spiritual healer, and to send love and light to every circumstance in your life and the people around you, by all means, start exploring that, start studying, and perfect. Your craft, whatever it is that your intention is, you can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can start off small. Just start off with, you know, finding out what essential oils can help,
Hmm.
or plants, or what you can use
Yeah.
for your saging, and start off simple,
Herbs.
and yeah, herbs.
Herbs from the
Um,
garden right now, if anybody grows herbs, I mean, there's so many healing things that herbs do, and
right, and
but if you have extra food, ferment, because when you ferment, I just started doing this year. When you ferment foods, it gets your digestive tract, all of that good bacteria back in alignment in your body that you're not going to get eating foods from the supermarket because it's going to have sugar and other additives. But when you make your own ferments, I mean, they're delicious. Like I would highly, highly recommend people do that. And I might even make a video about that and put it on my YouTube channel when I
that'd
make
be
from.
awesome.
Um,
And I like
it,
I like to do tinctures and salves and stuff too.
yeah,
So
maybe we could do a video of that together and like post it to the channel and post it here, and people could take our recipe and make their own little whatever it is that the ferment.
I should, yeah, you should make one, and I should make one of how to make a tincture.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that would be great. So we have a lot of ideas. So also everybody that's been here tonight, we want to thank you so much for joining
yes.
us. And we've enjoyed all of your comments and all of the energy that you've sent us. And we really appreciate you being here. But also, if you have any ideas or anything you want to learn about or you want us to speak about, let us know, because we plan to do this every Wednesday night at 9
Thank you,
o'clock
Angela.
time. So thank you, Angela, for being here with us, honey. And also, if anybody would like to book a reading with me, I do Zoom sessions, and I do phone. I don't need to do the visual. I can read without. And it's with psychiccowgirl.com. And Cindy also has her website, which is Blessed Mother Earth. You can reach her there.
The best way to get a hold of me is through Messenger, and there is a Blessed Mother Earth account, or you can email me at blessedmotherearth@outlook.com.
Awesome. That's awesome. So is there anything else that you'd like to share before we end?
I would just like to ask people that if you have an interest in healing, don't know where to start, I'm happy to visit with people about this. And I know you are too. And just take
Reach out.
reach out or take one step forward
Yep.
in your healing future, because we need people that do healing work. We
Yes.
really do.
This world needs your light, your love, and your healing right now. Right now. So
Thanks for having me, Melissa.
oh no, we're doing this together. It's just it's great to have somebody else to talk to, live while you're doing broadcasts like this, because what I don't think of, you will, and maybe what I don't get, you will, or vice versa. So it's always a good like a like-minded place to kind of come from, and then take it from there. It's free flowing.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Good night. Thank you,
Night.
Cindy. Bye, everyone.